Chapter 11. Stay away from me. There were a lot of planks now, and they needed to be brought back in batches. Lin Nuannuan said to Baidi, "You can bring a batch back first. I'll guard the wood here." Baidi didn't agree with that. "It's dangerous in the forest. I can't leave you here alone. Come with me. You don't have to guard the wood. It doesn't matter even if these planks are stolen. No, you worked hard to cut all this wood. I can't let the planks be stolen." Lin Nuannuan's words warmed Baidi's heart. He looked at her helplessly. "I really don't know what to do with you." He carried Lin Nuannuan to the tree, then stuffed the bone knife and a bag of sweet fruits into her arms. "Stay here and don't move. I'll be back soon." Lin Nuannuan nodded slowly. "All right." Baidi rushed off while carrying a batch of the planks. Lin Nuannuan sat alone in the tree, feeling bored. She brought out the sheepskin illustrated book and ate the sweet fruits while reading. She was on her third sweet fruit when a giant spotted spider suddenly fell from the sky and knocked onto the sheepskin illustrated book. This spider was more than a meter wide and covered in bright red spots. It opened its bloody mouth and pounced towards Lin Nuannuan. Lin Nuannuan was so frightened that she dodged backwards. She grabbed the tree trunk with both her hands, but she still fell. Seeing this, Xuangyun, who was hiding not far away, rushed over at lightning speed and caught Lin Nuannuan steadily. Lin Nuannuan heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that the person who saved her was Xuangyun. Her eyes widened. "Why is it you again?" Xuangyun snorted. Lin Nuannuan felt that this guy's attitude was really annoying, but he had just saved her, so she was too embarrassed to say anything. She could only push his chest. "Put me down." Xuangyun felt that the little female in his arms was soft and had a pleasant faint fragrance. It was the first time he'd held a female. It felt a lot better than he expected. He was a little reluctant to let her go, but he ultimately did. As soon as Lin Nuannuan's feet touched the floor, she quickly took 2 steps back and distanced herself from him. But before she could thank him, he suddenly pulled her aside. The huge spider jumped down and landed right where Lin Nuannuan had been standing. It was a good thing she'd been pulled away by Xuangyun in time, or she would have had another face-to-face encounter with the spider. After the spider landed, it immediately pounced on Xuangyun. Xuangyun was fearless and transformed into a wolf. His sharp claws swept over and directly left 3 long bloody scratches on the spider's abdomen. The spider let out a shrill cry. Utterly enraged, it swung its 8 spindly legs in a desperate bid for revenge. The insect and wolf fought fiercely. This was the first time Lin Nuannuan had seen Xuangyun's beast form. She knew he was a wolf, but she didn't know that the fur on his body was silver white. It was as bright as moonlight and he was unbelievably beautiful. Although the spider was full of tricks, Xuangyun's combat strength was impressive. In the end, the spider was flipped to the ground by Xuangyun's claws. Its round stomach was torn open, and green blood flowed all over the ground. Lin Nuannuan felt a little nauseous. She looked away and carefully moved over to his side. "Thank you for saving me," she said sincerely. Xuangyun sneered. "What's the use of saying thank you? I need you to repay me with your actions." "Huh?" He lowered his head and approached her with a nasty smile. "Why don't you?" Lin Nuannuan was so angry that her face turned red. "He's a pervert." She clenched her fists and glared at him angrily. "You bullied me last time and you saved me this time. We're even." He wagged his tail nonchalantly. "Since we're even, why are you still here? Why you're so annoying?" Lin Nuannuan turned around and ran away. When she was far away, Xuangyun revealed his claws that were stained with spider blood. The blood was highly toxic and his claws had begun to turn a strange dark purple. Xuangyun lowered his dark green eyes and laughed at himself. Unexpectedly, he, who usually looked fierce, was going to die at the hands of a spider. If the others in his tribe knew about this, they would definitely laugh at him. He closed his eyes, ready to die in peace. Footsteps suddenly sounded near him. Xuangyun immediately opened his eyes and looked in the direction of the sound. He saw that the female, who should have gone far away, had actually returned. An inexplicable mix of emotions suddenly welled up inside him. However, he still sounded annoyed. "Why are you back? Don't tell me you've thought it through and are planning to." Lin Nuannuan ignored this annoying fellow. She picked up something from the floor. She was in such a hurry that she had actually left this important thing behind. She carefully put the book away and was about to turn away when she realized that Xuangyun didn't look right. Lin Nuannuan hesitated for a moment before finally leaning over. "What's wrong?" Xuangyun glanced at her. "Why are you so close to me? Don't you know that I hate females? Lin Nuannuan rolled her eyes. If this guy hadn't just saved her, she would have grabbed a handful of leaves and stuffed them into his annoying mouth. Although Xuangyun tried his best to hide his claws, Lin Nuannuan noticed something amiss. She asked, "Have you been poisoned?" He turned away. "It's none of your business." Lin Nuannuan wanted to take a closer look at his claws, but he pushed her away with his tail. "Stay away from me." Lin Nuannuan glared at him slowly and then ran away with the sheepskin illustrated book in her arms. When Xuangyun saw how she had left without even looking back, he suddenly felt a huge sense of disappointment. Sure enough, all females were equally ruthless and cold-blooded. Even if he gave his life for them, they would not be moved by it at all. His dark green eyes quickly dimmed, and his silver-white fur seemed to be covered in a haze as it became dull. His father died because of a female. Now, the same thing was going to happen to him. Although he was a little indignant, on second thoughts, the result seemed reasonable. He had chosen this path. He saved her. He deserved to die. Xuangyun's head grew groggy, his vision blurred, and his body grew colder. He knew that he was about to die. He fell into despair at the thought. Lin Nuannuan ran back with a handful of grass. By this time, Xuangyun was unconscious and in imminent danger. Lin Nuannuan knelt in front of him. She cut his claws with a bone knife and released the poisonous blood. Then, after grinding the herbs, she applied the paste evenly to his claws. She cut pieces of hide and bandaged his claws with them. Chapter 12. Love Rival. Thank goodness for that sheepskin illustrated book. Lin Nuannuan had found records of spotted spiders in the book and knew that their blood was highly toxic. Only the spot spider detox herb could detoxify the poison in their blood. She found the herb in the forest according to the illustration of it as shown in the book. After helping Xuangyun treat his wound, Lin Nuannuan was extremely tired. She had run a long way in the forest to find the herb, and because she was weak to begin with, she was out of breath now. If she hadn't been trying to save someone, she would have just given up. Lin Nuannuan sat on the ground and raised her hand to wipe the sweat off her face. "You saved my life, and I saved yours. This time, we're really even." The spot spider detox herb was useful, and it didn't take long for Xuangyun's claws to turn a silver white again. He finally woke up. When Xuangyun opened his eyes, there was a moment of confusion. It was only when he saw Lin Nuannuan's bright eyes that he gradually recalled what had happened before he fainted. "I'm not dead." How unexpected. Lin Nuannuan extended 2 fingers and waved them in front of his eyes. "Tell me quickly, what number is this?" he asked weakly. "Did you save me?" "That's right." The way he looked at her became extremely complicated. He thought she had run off and just left him, but not only did she return, she even saved his life. She really was nothing like those selfish, cold-blooded females. He lowered his dark green eyes and whispered, "Thank you." "What did you say? Your voice is too soft. I can't hear it clearly." Lin Nuannuan rubbed her ears exaggeratedly. The tips of Xuangyun's ears turned slightly red. "I said, you're an idiot." Lin Nuannuan was not to be outdone. "You were saved by an idiot just now. This means that you're stupider than a fool." "I didn't beg you to save me." Lin Nuannuan was so angry that she fell backward. "I shouldn't have saved you." Baidi finally returned. He had also brought a few wolves to help bring back the wood. He did not expect to encounter Xuangyun here. Lin Nuannuan explained what had happened. If Xuangyun hadn't been there, his little female would have been eaten by the spider. He said solemnly to Xuangyun, "Thank you for saving my mate. I'll remember this favor. In the future, as long as you need my help, I'll definitely do my best." But Xuangyun was a little unhappy. It was because he could tell that although Baidi was grateful to him, he was also secretly warning him that he shouldn't even think about hitting on Lin Nuannuan. Baidi was much sharper than Lin Nuannuan. The moment he saw Xuangyun, he could tell that the wolf had ill intentions toward his little female. Out of selfishness, he did not tell Lin Nuannuan about it and allowed Lin Nuannuan's misunderstanding of Xuangyun to deepen. Love rivals had to be dealt with as soon as possible. The wolves that Baidi had brought were staring at Lin Nuannuan. She was wearing an animal hide dress, and her curvaceous body, as well as fair and cute appearance, made their hearts race. Baidi seemed to have expected this to happen, so the beasts he invited to help were all married males who had already found a female mate. A male could only have one female mate in his life. Although these males were stunned by Lin Nuannuan's appearance, They were not like those unmarried males. They only took a few more glances at the beautiful female before looking away and helping to move the planks of wood. The poison in Xuangyun had been fully removed. He thanked the others for their help and followed the group back to the wolf tribe. Lin Nuannuan slowly began to make furniture. Unfortunately, there were no nails. If she wanted to hold the plank in place, she would have to rely on a type of particularly sticky resin. After 2 whole days, she finally made cabinets, tables, and chairs. She'd wanted to make a wooden bed, but there wasn't enough resin. Hence, she could only ask Baidi to build one out of a slab of stone. Lin Nuannuan laid the animal skin on the bed and sewed 2 pillows with needles and animal hides. She went nearby to pick some wildflowers and arranged them in a wooden vase that was later placed on the table. This place finally looked like home. The system notification sounded. "Congratulations, host, for completing one of the quests. The reward is now being issued. Please remember to accept it." A spatula and iron pot appeared out of thin air in front of Lin Nuannuan. Her eyes were filled with joy. With the spatula and pot, she could cook. This reward was awesome. Lin Nuannuan happily went to Baidi with the spatula. "We can eat stir-fried dishes tonight." Baidi had never seen an iron pot before. He tapped it and was surprised to hear a clear ringing sound. "What is it made of?" "It's made of iron." Lin Nuannuan roughly introduced to him the things that iron could do. Baidi was listening intently while making a mental note of her words in case he ever saw an iron mine and didn't recognize it. They set up a stove with rocks. Because there was no seasoning, Lin Nuannuan could not prepare stir-fried dishes for the time being. She could only cook a pot of meat soup. The rich fragrance of meat filled the air, making one salivate. Lin Nuannuan filled a wooden bowl with meat soup and prepared to give it to Xuangyun, who lived next door. As annoying as the guy was, he saved her life and he lived next door. It was better to be acquainted with him. She didn't want to strain their relationship. Baidi didn't want his little female to have too much contact with other males, especially if that male harbored some inappropriate intentions for her. He took the initiative and suggested to her, "Give me the soup, I'll bring it to him." Lin Nuannuan thought about it. Xuangyun hated females. If she went, she would definitely be mocked by him again. So, she handed him the soup with, "Alacrity one, I'll have to trouble you then." He carried the soup out of the cave. The caves where the beasts lived had no doors. Some of the more particular beasts would hang a piece of animal hide at the entrance to block the view. There was a piece of animal hide hanging at Xuangyun's doorway. Baidi stood there and called Xuangyun's name. Xuangyun lifted the animal hide and frowned. "What?" Baidi said. "It's home-cooked meat soup. I brought it over for you to try." Xuangyun glanced at the bowl of soup and asked nonchalantly, "Did she ask you to deliver it?" Baidi smiled but said nothing. Xuangyun took the broth and turned to go back inside. When Baidi returned home, Lin Nuannuan had already served the soup on the table. "Come and eat," she said excitedly. Baidi sat down beside her and took a sip of his soup. "It's delicious," he said with genuine praise. "Then you should have more. There's still a lot in the pot." He couldn't help but smile back at her lovely smile, his handsome features blooming with a tenderness that was intoxicating. Lin Nuannuan couldn't help but sigh. "You're so good looking." He kissed the corner of her mouth. "I'm glad you think so." Lin Nuannuan's face instantly turned red. She started drinking her soup while trying to suppress her racing heart. Chapter 13. You like him? Lin Nuannuan had wanted to sleep in separate rooms, but Baidi gently refused. Although our cave has a wooden door, it can be pushed open from the outside with a little force. If someone rushes in here to try to do something to you and I'm not with you, you'll be in danger. Lin Nuannuan tried to argue. This is the wolf tribe. There wouldn't be any cases of burglary. Even so, that doesn't mean every wolf here is good. There's bound to be some bad apples among them. Today, you were almost eaten by a spider. Every time I think of that scene, I'm terrified. I have to guard you to be at ease. Lin Nuannuan was touched by how much Baidi cared about her. She finally acquiesced and agreed to share a bed with him. As she slowly fell asleep, she suddenly felt something hard pressing against her waist. Lin Nuannuan was jolted awake. There were no lights, and because it was nighttime, it was too dark to see anything clearly. She simply grabbed the odd stick. The heat and the slippery feel of it puzzled her. From behind her, Baidi's guttural voice was heard. "Burrow." He seemed to be trying to suppress something, like it was both painful and pleasant. A thought flashed through Lin Nuannuan's mind, and she suddenly understood what was going on. As if struck by lightning, she quickly let go and apologized in a panic. "I'm sorry. I didn't know it was your. She couldn't bring herself to say the last word. He hugged her from behind and stroked her ear. It's all right, he said, his voice slow and flirtatious. I like being held by you. It's comforting. Lin Nuannuan's face had already turned red. She said shakily, I'd better go next door and sleep. Next door? Are you going to sleep with Xuangyun? Do you like him? He was close to her ear, and she could feel his warm exhales against her skin. Through the darkness of the night, he could clearly see how alluring the little female in his arms was. The suppressed desires in his heart rushed out, eliminating what little rationality he had left. Lin Nuannuan could not see his expression clearly at this moment. The night made it impossible for her to see anything. She had no way of knowing how frenzied and scary he had become once his gentle appearance was stripped away. She instinctively sensed danger. That's not it. I don't like him. I just want to sleep in the other bedroom. He rubbed his hand down her slender waist, his dry, warm palm like a flame that left hot trails on her body. You're lying. You seem to like him. Why else did you risk your life to save him? I really don't like him. Don't do this. I'm scared. Don't do what? He held her a little tighter. This or this? The last syllable was said in a slightly higher tone, revealing a hint of wicked intentions. Lin Nuannuan was both embarrassed and afraid under his torture. She felt the muscles in her body go soft. He gently bit the back of her neck. That was where beasts were most vulnerable. He kissed her skin tenderly, his voice slow and mesmerizing. You're so sweet. Lin Nuannuan closed her eyes in embarrassment, not daring to look at the male beast behind her. She wanted to refuse, but she was craving for more. That night, Lin Nuannuan was both happy and miserable. And what she didn't know was that her moans and cries were clearly audible to Xuangyun next door. Xuangyun sat on the ground, his back against the rock wall. He looked down, his expression hidden in the darkness. On the other side of the rock wall was Lin Nuannuan. His naturally acute hearing made it easy for Xuangyun to hear everything that was going on in the next cave, including Lin Nuannuan saying she didn't like him and how she was begging Bai Di to be gentle. He could hear her sweet, seductive moans over and over. When Xuangyun heard Lin Nuannuan say that she didn't like him, he was furious and upset, but her moans made him forget his anger. He became even more bereft. He closed his eyes in resignation as a sense of great loss enveloped him. After a long time, he opened his eyes again. His dark green eyes were bleak, like a puppy abandoned by its master. He called out pathetically, Huan Huan. Lin Nuannuan woke up late the next day. She had been scrubbed clean, and the hide beneath her had been replaced with a clean hide. Everything had been cleaned up nicely as though last night's intimacy was just a dream. She and Bai Di hadn't gone all the way, but he'd touched and kissed her all over. The thought of it made her blush. Lin Nuannuan touched her burning cheek and stared blankly for a while before putting on her clothes and getting out of bed. Bai Di warmed up the soup they didn't finish last night and brought it to Lin Nuannuan. As soon as Lin Nuannuan saw him approaching, she remembered what had happened last night. She blushed in spite of herself and avoided looking at him. When he looked over, she quickly hugged the wooden bowl and sipped the soup. She used this as an excuse to avoid looking at him. Bai Di looked at her gently. I'm going out hunting later. If you need anything, let me know and I'll bring it back for you. Upon hearing that he was going out, Lin Nuannuan immediately put down the wooden bowl and looked at him eagerly. Can't you take me on the hunt with you? It's too dangerous for you to hunt. I won't be able to take care of you throughout the entire time. You'll be safe here. I've asked Wisheng to take care of you. She's a female in the wolf tribe and is about your age. You two should be able to become friends quite easily. He'd learned a lesson from the last time she was in danger in the forest. He wouldn't let her go into the forest again unless he had to. Lin Nuannuan knew that she was too weak. Even if she followed him, she wouldn't be of much help. Sometimes, she might even be a burden. She hung her head low in disappointment. All right, she said in agreement sullenly. He stroked her head. Don't be sad. I'll be back soon. I'll bring you those fragrant and crunchy fruits. I don't want those fruits. I want these few things. If you see them, bring them back for me. She took out the sheepskin illustrated book and picked out several of the plants that could be used as seasonings to show him. Bai Di memorized the illustrations of those plants. He left the bone knife for Lin Nuannuan to defend herself with and gave her a lot of reminders before reluctantly leaving. If it weren't for the fact that he had to store food for winter, he would have stayed by his little female's side and never left. Mu Sheng came not long after Bai Di left. She was a very young female wolf and her skin was a little tanned. However, her eyes were very bright and her smile was very exuberant. Chapter 14. A little hostile. As soon as Mu Sheng saw Lin Nuannuan, she was attracted by her petite and cute appearance. She couldn't help but pinch Lin Nuannuan's fair face and laugh loudly. "You're Bai Di's mate, right? You're so cute." Lin Nuannuan admitted that she was not tall, but she had never felt that she was short either. Ever since she transmigrated to this world, though, every beast she saw was taller than her. Even the young female in front of her was a full head taller than her. She was devastated and in a bitter mood. Winter was approaching, and the male beasts were all busy hunting. Some of the older ones and their young would tan hides and dry animal meat in their homes, lest they rot and spoil while stored. As for the rare and delicate females, they didn't have to do anything but lie at home and enjoy the food the males brought to their mouths. Although Lin Nuannuan also wanted to live the good life of lying in bed every day and waiting for someone to feed her, her heart ached for Bai Di, who was out hunting. She wished she could take some of the pressure off him. Embarrassed, she asked, "Sister Mu Sheng, can you tell me how to tan hides?" Mu Sheng hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, I can. But why do you want to learn this? As a female, you don't have to do anything. You just have to stay at home and give birth. Someone else will naturally do these menial tasks." When Lin Nuannuan heard the words "give birth," her face turned even redder. Her imagination ran wild. It would be nice to have a child as beautiful as Bai Di. Ahem! Stop, stop! Lin Nuannuan slowly covered her blushing face to stop her unrealistic imagination. She couldn't bring herself to say something as corny as wanting to share his burden, so she had to come up with an awkward excuse. "I'm just bored and want something to do." Mu Sheng laughed. "Fine. I'm bored anyway. I'll go with you to tan the hides." They carried the hides to the river together. The process of tanning animal hides was not complicated. Under Mu Zhang's guidance, Lin Nuannuan would be able to start soon. While they were happily working, many males were staring at them with burning eyes. Females were extremely delicate. They rarely went out, and their families usually could not bear to let them go out. It was rare for two females to appear at the same time today, and they were both quite good-looking. Especially the petite one. The male's gazes were involuntarily drawn to her. There were a few single young males who couldn't suppress their desire. They stilled themselves to go forward and strike up a conversation. However, before they could come close, they were all chased away by Xuangyun, who had been guarding in the dark. From the moment Lin Nuannuan walked out of the house, Xuangyun had been silently following her. He watched from afar as she chatted and laughed with her companion. Her bright smile made his heart beat faster. He didn't hesitate to beat up those wolves who wanted to hit on her. Mu Sheng noticed that a few wolves were fighting not far away and could not help but take a few more glances. She asked curiously, "Are you very familiar with Patriarch Xuangyun?" Without looking up, Lin Nuannuan said, So. I realize that the tribe leader has been looking at you." "Huh?" Lin Nuannuan looked up in surprise and followed the direction she was pointing. Lin Nuannuan's gaze met Xuangyun's. They both looked startled. Xuangyun's ears were red, and his heart was beating faster. The other party had not said anything, but he felt guilty. He couldn't help feeling flustered. He pretended to look up calmly and walk toward her. Lin Nuannuan asked slowly, "Why are you here?" Xuangyun's gaze swept across her face, and his mind involuntarily recalled the scene of her moaning gently last night. His lower body immediately reacted, scaring him so much that he quickly turned sideways to avoid Lin Nuannuan's gaze. "I came here for a walk." "Oh." Lin Nuannuan did not suspect anything and continued to work on the animal hides. But Mu Sheng saw something strange about Xuangyun and smiled knowingly. She didn't expect Patriarch Xuangyun, who hated females, to have feelings for Lin Nuannuan. This was really rare. Xuangyun stood by the river as if admiring the view across the river, but he kept glancing at the female beside him from the corners of his eyes. She was chatting and laughing with Mu Sheng as she tanned the hides. The more one looked at her, the more one liked her. The animal hides became very heavy after getting wet in the water. Lin Nuannuan was weak, and it took her a lot of effort to barely pick up the animal hides. Suddenly, her hands were free. Xuangyun had taken all the hides from her hands. Just as Lin Nuannuan was about to express her gratitude, she heard him mocking her with disdain. "You can't even carry such small things. Females are indeed useless. Lin Nuannuan. The gratitude in her heart instantly vanished. As long as this guy opened his mouth, the words that came out definitely weren't pleasant to the ears. Xu Angyun carried the animal hides and strode forward. Lin Nuannuan quickly followed. Why are you walking so fast? Wait for me. Am I walking fast? Your legs are obviously too short. I object. That's a personal attack. Objection overruled. Mu Sheng hugged her own animal hides and followed them from a distance. She couldn't help but laugh as she watched the tall and short figures in front of her get closer and closer. What an interesting pair. Lin Nuannuan dried the animal hides on the mountaintop. When the sun was about to set, she took the animal hides back. She was preparing dinner when she remembered the soup she had given Xu Angyun last night. If he's finished the soup, why didn't he return the bowl to me? She went next door to look for Xu Angyun and extended her right hand. Give me back the bowl. He avoided her gaze. What bowl? The wooden bowl you got the soup in last night. Baidi sent it to you. Don't pretend. Bring out the bowl now. Lin Nuannuan glared at him, thinking that this guy was really too evil. After drinking the soup, he still wanted to keep the bowl for himself. He was a cheapskate. Xu Angyun knew that he could not avoid it. He took out the wooden bowl that he had washed clean and stored away. It was the only thing the female had given him. He couldn't bear to let go of it. Lin Nuannuan snatched the wooden bowl and ran away. It was evening when Bai Di returned with his prey. He carefully placed a hide pouch on the table. These are the plants you wanted. I got them all for you. Lin Nuannuan cheered and ran over to open the pouch. She took out the plants inside and identified them one by one. There were no mistakes. It was exactly the few plants that she needed. Lin Nuannuan was very happy. Among them was a white fruit called Lu fruit. Its juice was salty and could be used in place of salt. There was another called red leaf and it had a spicy fragrance. Finally, there was the sweet fruit that Lin Nuannuan often ate. It tasted very sweet and could replace sugar. With these condiments, she happily made 2 stir-fried dishes and a large pot of soup. Chapter 15. Not a mate. The seasoned meat dishes became even more delicious. Lin Nuannuan filled a large bowl with some of the dishes. She said to Baidi, when I was standing animal hides by the river during the day, Xu Angyun helped me a little. Help me send these dishes to him as a thank you gift. Baidi went to find Xu Angyun with the hot meat dishes. Xu Angyun had been in a foul mood, but when he saw the bowl of fragrant meat dishes, his mood brightened. He quickly snatched the bowl of meat and carefully protected it as if he was afraid that someone would snatch it away. Baidi gave him a half smile. Nuannuan told me how you helped her earlier in the day. Thank you for that. Xu Angyun snorted. She was the one I was helping. You should let her thank me personally. Who are you to thank me on her behalf? He turned to leave. Baidi spoke behind him. We'll be leaving after winter. Don't get any ideas about her. Xu Angyun stopped in his tracks and said in an unfriendly tone, I can do whatever I want. It's none of your business. Lin Nuannuan received the quest issued by the system. You've triggered the second quest of the winter season series. Please collect enough food before winter arrives. Lin Nuannuan did not know how much enough meant, so she could only let Baidi hunt as much prey as possible. He would spend most of the day hunting. In the past, he had always spent winters alone. His survival skills were very strong, and his hunting skills were extremely good. Every time, he would return with a full load, causing Mu Sheng to be envious and jealous of Lin Nuannuan. Your mate is so good. He alone has gotten more prey than my family. Mu Sheng had a total of 5 male partners. Considering how they were able to win Mu Zhang's favor, they were naturally very skilled, but they were still inferior to Baidi. Lin Nuannuan shyly explained, he and I aren't mates. Mu Sheng was astonished. Why would you allow him to share a cave with you if he isn't your mate? And you sleep in the same bed? Lin Nuannuan could not answer. She wondered what sort of relationship she had with him. They ate and slept together, and occasionally, Baidi did something intimate with her. But they never took it to the last step. Lin Nuannuan thought for a long time. In the end, she could only give a dry answer. He's my family. But Mu Sheng said, mates are family too. Lin Nuannuan wanted to say that this was different, but she couldn't figure out what was different. Mu Sheng smiled mischievously at the sight of her stammering. If you don't want Baidi as your mate, just say so. He's so good at hunting. I can make him my 6th mate. Lin Nuannuan immediately panicked. No, he can't be your mate. Why? You don't like him anyway. It's okay to let me have him. Lin Nuannuan blurted out. Who said I don't like him? Does that mean you like him? Mu Sheng beamed over her shoulder. As if realizing something, Lin Nuannuan turned to see Bai Di standing in the doorway. He was staring at the two females in silence. Why was he back? Lin Nuannuan recalled what she had just said and was instantly embarrassed. She wished she could find a hole to hide in, but he didn't seem to notice her shyness. His face was neutral as he entered the house. He naturally pulled Lin Nuannuan into his arms, then took out a hide pouch and handed it to Mu Sheng. Thank you for taking care of Nuannuan these days. I'm really grateful to you. These are some crunchy fruits I picked while hunting. I hope you like them. Mu Sheng accepted the pouch graciously. You're welcome. I like Nuannuan. She's a lovely female. You're so blessed. Lin Nuannuan's face turned red. Mu Sheng smiled and left. Once she was gone, only Lin Nuannuan and Bai Di were left in the cave. The atmosphere immediately became ambiguous. Lin Nuannuan asked uncomfortably, "Why are you back so early today? I missed you, so I hurried back." He picked her up and smiled at her. "It's a good thing I got back in time, or I wouldn't have heard you." What did you hear? Lin Nuannuan played dumb. He leaned close to her face. "You said you like me." They were so close that they could count each other's eyelashes. Lin Nuannuan's heart was pounding. She covered her red and hot face while arguing softly. "I never said that." "You're lying." "I just heard it myself." "You must have misheard me earlier." "I didn't." "You said you like me." Lin Nuannuan was extremely embarrassed. "I didn't." "Don't you like me?" Lin Nuannuan slowly raised her head and looked carefully at Bai Di, who was staring at her with intense concentration. He was asking her this very seriously. Lin Nuannuan could not say no. After a long pause, she said something very, very softly. "I don't dislike you." Bai Di smiled, and the look of love in his blue eyes seemed to drown her. "So, you like me?" Lin Nuannuan turned her head slowly. "I still have things to do. Let's end this conversation here." Then she fled, blushing. Lin Nuannuan slowly cleaned the prey that Bai Di had brought back. She smeared the juice of the lu fruit on it and hung it on the mountaintop to dry. She had to guard the place in case someone stole her food. She wasn't idle during this time either. In addition to the meat, she'd sent Bai Di to find a few edible vegetables to bring back. Bai Di was a carnivore. He did not like vegetables, but Lin Nuannuan had to eat them. Eating only meat and not vegetables would cause a nutritional imbalance in her body. She divided those vegetables into 2 batches. One would be dried, while the other would be stored in the cellar. Well, to make it easier to store vegetables, she'd specifically asked Bai Di to dig up a cellar under the kitchen. Seeing that there was more and more food stored at home, Lin Nuannuan felt especially satisfied. The system finally prompted. "Congratulations, host. You've completed the series of tasks. Rewards will be granted soon. Please check." A large bag of sanitary pads suddenly appeared in front of Lin Nuannuan. She was stunned for a moment, and then she was overjoyed. Finally, sanitary pads. Nuannuan didn't have to worry about her period anymore. Lin Nuannuan happily put away the sanitary pads. The system was really awesome. The reward every time was very practical. It was getting colder, and Bai Di no longer went out to hunt. He stayed at home with Lin Nuannuan as they smoked meat and made pickled vegetables. Just as winter was approaching, a group of beast people suddenly came to the wolf tribe. Their originally peaceful lives suddenly took a turn.